Menstrual blood is the only source of blood that is not traumatically induced. Yet, in modern society, it is the most hidden blood, the only one that is so rarely spoken of and almost never seen, except privately by women. These were the famous words of the American poet and author Judy Grant. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the webinar on menstrual health and hygiene. My name is Nikita Menezes, and I will be your moderator for this webinar. Menstruation is associated with the onset of puberty in girls, and it is a normal and healthy part of life for most women. Roughly half of the female population, which is around 26% of the global population, are of reproductive age. Yet most women who menstruate each month for about 2 to 7 days. Yet, as normal as this is, it is also stigmatized around the world, and menstrual hygiene continues to be amongst the most challenging development issues today. Though we are living in the 21st century and we have made significant strides in the field of science and technology, menstruation is still considered a taboo in certain societies. Even today, the cultural and social influences on people create a major hurdle in ensuring that adolescent girls are given proper knowledge on menstrual hygiene. What we fail to understand is that this changed attitude towards girls and restrictions on their self-expression, schooling, mobility, and freedom has far-reaching consequences as they grow into young women. It leads to damaging misconceptions and discrimination and can cause girls to miss out on normal childhood experiences and activities. Stigma, taboos, and myths prevent adolescent girls and boys to learn about menstruation and develop healthy habits. Menstrual hygiene is very important for the well-being and empowerment of girls and women worldwide. It is not just about sanitary pads and appropriate toilets, though those are very important, but it is also about ensuring that girls and women live in an environment that values and supports their ability to manage their menstruation with dignity. Which is why we at MAHE have organized this webinar on menstrual health and hygiene in association with the Urvi Medical Innovations Limited. And any event that we organized at MAHE, especially those that benefit the students, have always had the unstinted support of the Department of Student Affairs. Dr. Geeta Maya, the Director of Student Affairs, has been delighted to see so many participants, staff and students in attendance, and she's been eagerly waiting to welcome you all. Over to you, ma'am, for your welcome address.
Thank you, Nikita. Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to Break the Silence, a webinar on menstrual health and hygiene, Word Beyond Pads, organized by the Department of Student Affairs MAHE in association with Urvi Medical Innovations Private Limited. Menstruation is an innate part of a woman's life. Today, we have moved far behind those days when people would hesitate to speak on menstruation and related issues. However, today, all of us realize that menstruation is a natural physiological phenomenon that needs to be addressed. In this context, not only women, but also men need to know the hygienic management of the same, so that even the underprivileged women are able to manage the menstrual period in the best possible way. It is also important to create awareness on the myths and false beliefs associated with the menstruation. Hence, we at the Department of Student Affairs, MAHE, decided to organize this webinar on menstrual health. In this connection, we are happy to associate with Urvi Medical Innovation Private Limited and thank them for their wholehearted support. At the outset, I extend a cordial welcome to Dr. Rajeshwari G. Bhatt, Malaka Manipal Medical College, Manipal, who has kindly consented to speak on the topic Understanding menstrual health. Madam, thank you for accepting our invitation and consenting to deliver this talk. I also extend a warm welcome to Mrs. Jigisha Gandhi, AMI Polymer Private Limited, who has kindly consented to provide awareness on environment-friendly products for menstrual health. Madam, we welcome you and thank you for being with us. I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Hari Krishna B. Shetty and Dr. Bhamini Krishna Rao, Directors, Urvi Medical Innovation Private Limited. A cordial welcome to you, sir and madam. Every activity that we conduct always has the unstinted support of entire management team of MAHI. I extend a very warm welcome to all MAHI officials, faculty members and student friends and all other distinguished invitees attending this webinar. I'm very happy to see that so many participants have joined the webinar. Our aim is to create awareness regarding hygienic menstruation practice can only be achieved by understanding the facts and knowing the best eco-friendly products and practices. I thank you all for accepting our invitation and I welcome you all to this webinar. I'm sure that it will be an enlightening and fruitful session for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Geeta Maya, for the warm welcome, and we welcome you too to this webinar. As Dr. Geeta Maya has stated, we are very happy to associate with Urvi Medical Innovations Private Limited, which is an R&D startup established in early 2020 with the prime focus to provide solutions to the plaguing problems found in women's healthcare and to tear down social stigmas associated with health, thus helping and providing confidence to women to address these issues and uplift them. Today, we are glad to have Dr. Bhamini Krishna Rao, professor at the Department of Physiotherapy and also one of the directors of Urvi Medical Innovations Private Limited. Dr. Bhamini Krishna Rao will now give an overview of this webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nikita, and thanks to Dr. Geeta Maya for welcoming all the dignitaries. Good morning, everyone. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. Yatraitastu na pujyante sarvastatraha falaha kriyaha. In ancient Veda, women are equated and worshipped as God because only she possesses the power to give new life. However, this divine power, the source of Bija, is her reproductive system, which is the focus of today's talk. More than 70 to 90% of young women suffer with one or the other form of a menstrual related problem globally as well as India. It could be anything ranging from irregular menstruation, abnormal vaginal bleeding, amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, premenstrual symptoms, as well as high perceived stress during this time. Many times a simple procedure like act of awareness, sharing knowledge can help them immensely. However, more often than not, especially in India, women are trained, subdued to keep all these issues themselves and even made to feel so shameful that they don't want to speak about it by the societal indifference as well as ignorance. But why do we suffer in silence? It is time to break the silence, voice our concerns, and bring innovation in this field. And it all starts with the deeper understandings of ourselves and our problems. Only women can feel it. Dear participants, you may be aware that 11th to 17th October, UK actually observed Environment Menstrual Week, and May 28th is a Menstrual Hygiene Day globally. We may not be as open as Western population, Western society, but I'm very, very happy to see so many of you attending this workshop today and willing to voice and break the stigma related to menstrual health and hygiene. Myself, Bhamini Krishna Rao, I'm a professor in physiotherapy who has been practicing women's health for quite long time, always ended up in dealing with women's problem along with my pediatric practice. I have been happy to say that I have been given an award by BIG Birac, which inculcated in a company called Urvi Medical Innovations Private Limited. And here we are working to solve the problems of women with innovative solutions. As a socially responsible company, we wish to take part in educating the masses about these things. Whatever is good for women's health is our main motto. We are happy that Student Affairs Chairperson Dr. Geeta Maya took it upon herself to arrange this event along with the support of all her faculty. It is an idea which has been taken up and given a lot of importance in our university with the higher official support. I'm also very happy to have Dr. Rajeshwari G. Bhatt, who is a renowned obstetrics and gynecologist, along with Mrs. Jigisha Gandhi, who is a director of ME Polymers. I hope Nikita will be introducing them once again before their talk. Let us join hands together in this journey of empowering women by our teamwork. Thank you for this opportunity and for coming together. Thank you. Over to you, Nikita.
Thank you, Dr. Bhamini, for giving an overview of this session. It is now time to hear from our resource persons. We have two resource persons today who will address two important and needs of the hour concepts. Dr. Rajeshwari G. Naik will be speaking on understanding menstrual health and hygiene, and Mrs. Jigisha Gandhi will be speaking on environmental friendly products for menstrual health. Before I call on our first speaker, it is my pleasure to introduce her to the gathering. Dr. Rajeshwari began her medical career with an MBBS degree from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, and an MD in obstetrics and gynecology from GMC Bellary, Gulbarga. She has held several positions in various institutes of Mahe. She has worked at Kasturba Medical College, Manipal as the assistant professor from 2001 to 6 and associate professor from 2006 to 14. She then joined Melaka Manipal Medical College, Manipal campus, as an associate professor and is currently working there as the additional professor at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Dr. Rajeshwari is also the recipient of several awards, including the first in surgery in a final year of MBBS, the Manoj Salian Memorial Prize awarded by KMC Manipal in 1992, the Post-Graduation Award by Pfizer Company in 1994, and the Alumni Award conferred by Mahe in 2010. She has also authored several publications in reputed journals. Ma'am, we are truly delighted that you have accepted our invitation to be the resource person today. May I request you to please address the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nikita, for such nice words. Good morning to all of you. And special thanks to Dr. Geeta Maya, Director, Student Affairs, and Dr. Bhamini for giving me this opportunity to talk about understanding women's health, especially menstrual health and hygiene, which is hardly spoken, considered as a topic of secret. So I'll not waste time. Straight away I'll share my PowerPoint. We shall discuss. So is it seen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
So I'll be talking about understanding normal menstruation, anatomy and physiology, menstrual hygiene, the myths and taboos, which Nikita already spoke a few words, problems faced by women, and then possible solutions. As Dr. Geeta Maya said, menstruation is a natural, normal, biological process experienced by all adolescent girls and women. We are actually 50% of population in the world, and on any given day, more than 800 million women
are menstruating around the world. It's a huge number. And in India itself, there are about 35 crore menstruating women and girls. If you see the anatomy of female reproductive organs, I'll use pointer. This is the female reproductive organ that is situated within the bone pelvis in the lower part of our tummy, between the pouch which holds the urine called urinary bladder and a large intestine, part of the large intestine. So it's situated between the urinary bladder and intestine. Can you see my pointer? Nikita?
Yes, ma'am. But it's very small dot. Can the size be increased a little bit?
Yeah. Is this
Yes,
better?
this is better. Yes, ma'am.
This is the pictorial representation of female reproductive organs. This is the main organ called uterus, which is responsible to hold the pregnancy till about 9 months. And this inner layer, which has cyclical phenomena, I'll be describing about this later. And we have 2 ovaries which carry eggs from the birth of a lady till she exhausts all the eggs, that's menopause. And there are 2 tube-like structures called fallopian tubes which carry the eggs from the ovary, and sperms, if at all they are present in the vagina, and then a fertilization may take place, and this fertilized baby is brought to the uterus to be grown. And this is the reproductive tract. This is vagina through which the baby is born out, and the menstrual blood also flows from the uterus through the vagina into the outside world. So as I told you, the entire reproductive system is situated in the lower part of the tummy within the bony pelvis. So what is menstruation? Menstruation is nothing but shedding of this inner layer of the uterus along with some blood when there is no pregnancy. If there is pregnancy, the menstruation gets interrupted and the uterus starts preparing for next cycle. It is also told that uterus is crying if there is no pregnancy. So menstruation is nothing but cry of the uterus. So it starts at about 10 to 12 years of the age. It's called menarche, beginning of the first menstruation. Till then, the girl is free, though ovaries have millions of eggs or follicles within the ovary. There is no menstruation taking place because it's suppressed, and it ends at menopause, roughly about 45 to 50 years of age. So every menstrual cycle is approximately 28 to 32 days long, and the bleeding lasts for 3 to 7 days. It may be associated with mild cramps. There are different phases of menstruation. Once the actual bleeding is over, as I said, uterus starts preparing for the next menstruation. So we have thousands of eggs in each ovaries, but in every cycle, only one egg becomes mature and it is released from the ovary, caught by the fallopian tube. The egg slowly travels down the fallopian tube from the ovaries towards the uterus, and it may get fertilized. If it does not get fertilized, the uterus begins to rebuild its lining simultaneously. And if the egg is not fertilized, as I said, uterus starts crying because there is sudden drop of hormonal levels which were supporting the growth of endometrium. Endometrium is nothing but inner lining of the uterus. So the lining breaks down and the bleeding starts. This is a pictorial representation again, various phases in the uterus, various phases in the ovarian cycle, and this is the hormonal level. So menstruation is nothing but beginning of a menstrual cycle, normally lasts for about 5 days with a range of 3 to 7 days. Only 2 to 6 tablespoons of blood is lost during each period. Why we need to know menstrual hygiene management? Many girls stay home from school due to insufficient menstrual hygiene materials, inadequate water and sanitation facilities in schools, unsupportive environments, and fear of menstrual accident. Some girls even avoid standing up to answer teachers' question because of stress over leakage or smell or discomfort. They hesitate to write on blackboard for the fear of menstrual accident and subsequent shame and embarrassment this causes. So, FIGO and UNICEF have defined menstrual hygiene management as a clean menstrual management material to absorb and collect blood that can be changed in privacy as often as necessary for the duration of the period, availability of soap and water for washing the body as required, and having access to facilities to dispose of the used menstrual management materials. So what are the menstrual hygiene material? These are used to manage menses safely in order to stay healthy and to avoid physical discomfort, leakages, so that a girl and woman can go to school or work without interruption during menstruation. So the materials can be external or internal. External materials are worn outside the body. The internal material is inserted into the vagina. The external material that are available are sanitary disposable napkins or a cloth. It could be a cloth pad or a folded cloth itself. The internal materials are tampon, which again is disposable, or reusable menstrual cup. Both these have to be inserted into the vagina. Okay, I will discuss one by one. The sanitary napkin is a pad which is worn during menstruation to absorb blood. It's used during periods so that she can carry out her normal work without any discomfort. They are disposable and should be discarded after being used once. They cannot be reused. It has 3 layers. The lowest layer that lies on the underwear. The middle layer is important layer which soaks the blood quickly and prevents leakage. The surface layer is close to the skin. It's made up of perforated material that keeps the skin dry and acts as a barrier between the skin and the absorbent panel. There are 2 types of sanitary pads. It could be adhesive type. I think this picture is not seen clearly, but all girls are familiar with this. And non-adhesive type, which has a string and that is tied around the waist and with the help of loops that can be worn. Advantages of sanitary napkins over the other material. Disposable napkins are more convenient and easier to use than reusable cloth or even the internal material. Since blood gets absorbed into the mid layer, there is a feeling of dryness unlike cloth. When changed often, they can prevent infection and they can be used by women of all ages. When I say that, in India, the girls before marriage hesitate to use internal material. So they allow girls more mobility, thus can allow them to take part in school activities, and for women in their all office work or home related works. But there are disadvantages. It contains non-biodegradable material. It makes it very disadvantageous, and it is also toxic to environment. If not disposed properly, it can be hazardous to animals if it is thrown in the bushes or outside. It may be eaten by animals. And flushing, that is done by most of the girls in schools without being aware of the problem. It can block the drainage. So the answer for this environment friendly or unfriendly sanitary napkins is having biodegradable pads. So they are also available by Government of India. Which is oxy-biodegradable, contains a special additive that renders the napkin biodegradable when exposed to sun and air. So when compared to ordinary napkins, which takes 500 years to degrade, this biodegradable napkins starts disintegrating after 6 months. When we come to clothes, it's one of the most common method used all over the world from ancient times. The cloth which is folded and placed within the underwear, or it's passed over private parts by means of a string tied around the waist. The cloth is washed and reused. Advantages are it's easily available, therefore it is cost effective, it's reusable and environment friendly. This need not be sewn like this. It can be a simple cloth which is folded, but it has to be cotton cloth. There are disadvantages of clothes. If cloth is not washed properly without soap and using very little water and not dried properly with the shame, it may stay damp and give rise to skin infection or even reproductive tract infection. So it has to be dried properly and stored. The materials for internal use are tampons and menstrual cups. Both of them, like other materials, have to be changed frequently. There is one problem with tampons. It can cause very serious medical condition which can be fatal, called toxic shock syndrome. So I think it is not accepted in United States. Menstrual cups are reusable and they last longer. All internal materials require clean hands for insertion. It's very important, and the opportunity to wash the material like menstrual cup and hands after use, necessitating a supply of safe water and soap. As I had already mentioned, it may not be culturally appropriate in some contexts, especially in our country, because it requires to be inserted into the vagina. The waste created by menstruation, I had mentioned, in India there are around 35 crores menstruating women, and each of them menstruate at least 12 months a year, and they may be using about 8 to 16 pads per cycle. So about 1.02 billion pads are disposed monthly, and 113 lakh tons of menstrual waste is generated annually. It's becoming a big environment problem. So how to dispose of sanitary napkins safely? Best is to use the one which gets disposed, as it is not available freely now. whatever is available, wrap the used napkin in an old newspaper and throw them into dustbin which are emptied daily. The dustbin have to be emptied daily by unknown people. It should not be dumped with all other material. If the garbage is not collected daily, the napkins should be disposed of by either burying them in the deep pit or by burning them. Burning is not environment friendly, but it is better than just throwing them. Some schools luckily have machines in which a large quantity of napkins can be burnt. They are called incinerators. If it is not disposed properly, it gets collected in one place for a long time. They may begin to emit bad odor and become a site where bacteria can multiply. And I had already mentioned, if it is thrown into a commode, it blocks the drain and causes problem with sanitation. The advantage of reusable cloth is it can be washed, dried and stored hygienically. Similarly, menstrual cups also can be washed, dried and stored. So these are the sanitary vending machines. It should be made available in schools, in working places, in big malls. And this is the picture showing electric incinerator where the used pads are I can't say thrown, they are inserted into this machine where it gets burnt. So the points to remember to all our girls are, once wet, the napkin or cloth should be changed immediately. If not, it can cause irritation on the inside of thighs and can lead to infections. And it should always be kept in a clean and dry place. It's essential to wash the body and private parts not only daily, with every time when you change the napkins. And during menstruation, the outer genitalia should be washed from time to time to remove any blood that is left. And we should wash our hands every time the napkins are changed. I'll mention you the way to clean also. If the underwear is soiled, it must be changed. Otherwise, it makes the bacteria to grow and cause infection. It's better to keep separate underwear for the periods. Even if napkin is not fully soaked, it's better to change the napkin every 6 to 8 hours, minimum 3 napkins per day. And the way to wash is from front to back, never from back to front, because our motion which is passed through the anus contain bacteria and it may enter vagina if we wash from back to front. Few more tips. We should have extra sanitary pads or tampons or menstrual cups properly stored in a clean pouch or paper bag, a soft towel, some paper tissues, hand sanitizer, a healthy snack and bottle of drinking water to avoid fainting during menstruation. The menstrual cramps. There may be mild lower abdominal tummy discomfort or pain and mild backache, which is quite normal, common and physiological. It is usually relieved by rest, a hot water bag either on tummy or back, and once in a while painkillers may be required. So what is abnormal? If the bleeding is too much, how much is too much? If changing of pad is required every 2 hours, or if there is passing of clots. Clot is nothing but a blood which is solidified, not exactly solid but not fluid. more frequent menses, that is once more than every 3 weeks, once in every 21 days. And if there is no periods for 1.5 months, more than 6 weeks, but that is after initial first 2 to 3 years, when the girls have irregular bleeding, that's fine. If too much of pain, which requires absence from school and work. So all these are abnormal, and it's better to consult your obstetrician or gynecologist. So I'll just touch upon few wrong beliefs, myths and taboos which are built around menstruation. It's been there a long time and it may be different in different cultures. It's thought that bad blood is coming out of the body, so they are considered dirty during menstruation and they are socially secluded. It is so much that in certain parts of our country, they are not even allowed to enter inside the village. A separate small area is given for them and they'll have to stay there as long as they menstruate. They're not allowed to go to place of worship. They're not allowed to attend functions. They're not allowed to handle food. They're not supposed to bathe. This is actually bad. It can lead to problems of hygiene and health. It's also believed that if they take bath, they'll become infertile. If they touch cow will become infertile. If they look in a mirror, the mirror will lose its brightness. If touch a plant like tulsi, it will die. They shouldn't handle the pickle. They shouldn't exercise. Dietary restriction, the curds will get spoiled, the pickles will get spoiled. This list is not complete. It goes on. What are the problems a girl faces? Because these high levels of stigma and disgust associated with menstruation, it's considered a shameful and taboo topic. Lack of information and misconceptions and adverse attitudes to menstruation may lead to a negative self-image among girls who are experiencing menses for the first time, particularly when they become the target of teasing, and can result in lack of self-esteem as they develop their personality as women. And this is described by not us, by UNESCO. And UNICEF says the culture of silence around menstruation increases the perception of menstruation as something shameful that needs to be hidden. Girls report experiencing stress, shame, embarrassment, confusion and fear due to lack of knowledge and inability to manage their menstruation. They are faced with challenges related to management of menstruation in public places. And the lack of awareness is so significant that 70% of girls report having no knowledge of menstruation before their first period. Only about 23% knew that the uterus is the source of bleeding. 70% of mothers consider menstruation dirty. Who are supposed to teach their daughters, they consider menstruation dirty. Rigid social norms and cultural taboos prevent open dialogue and discourse. Only 58% of women use some safe hygienic products. That too, women living in cities. Only 2 to 3% of rural Indian women use disposable sanitary napkins. There are no toilets, separate toilets for girls to wash during her periods. So, taking into consideration of all these problems, a German-based NGO WASH decided to have a menstrual hygiene day. It aims to create awareness and change negative perceptions around menstrual hygiene. So May 28th of every year is considered as World Menstrual Hygiene Day. 28 is chosen because of the cycle length of average cycle length of 28 days. So girls, remember, menstruation is part of every woman's life, and there should be no shame or embarrassment around this. There is no impurity or pollution associated with menstruation. Menstruation should not be seen as an obstacle to daily activities. Practices such as seclusion or staying away from school must be discouraged. I'm sorry, I said girls, it's wrong, it's everybody. So what's the responsibility of society? As long as menstruations remains a taboo, it poorly understood both by women and men, it's very difficult to develop good public policy and practice around it. And myths and misconceptions will continue to flourish, making it hard to engage health and educational professionals. How to promote menstrual hygiene then? Provision of health education to girls and boys about menstrual hygiene material also. And it should start at home, as it is said that everyone's first teacher is mother and the school is home. So it should start at home and men should be involved. In Uttar Pradesh, they had started involving men in menstruation related health education. Initially, men were reluctant, they refused to take part, but slowly their awareness increased. And when men are involved, it's very easy to implement all government directed programs. So increasing community action to improve access to clean toilets with water, both at home and in schools. Promoting the availability and use of sanitary products in low cost and having sanitary vending machines, and also enabling safe disposal of sanitary products. Schools should have sufficient safe water and sanitation facility. It should have physical structures like buildings, paths, and separate latrines with proper bolt to close the doors for women to be secure. And it's very, very important to promote psychosocial well-being. A school should be a place where all are free from fear and exploitation. The government should be able to provide infrastructure, provision of safe water, distribution of affordable menstrual hygiene material, and waste collection. The FIGO said the lack of proper sanitation facilities and proper affordable hygiene materials for the use by adolescent girls and women at home, at school and workplaces affect their health, their potential to access education, employment, overall safety and quality of life. So, आओ बात करें महावरी की. Let's talk about periods. The picture is not complete because it's only girls here. The men should also have been here. Thanks once again for giving me this opportunity. I hope I made the whatever understanding of normal menstruation, the availability of menstrual hygiene material. So these are my references. Thanks once again.